Welcome to Jazz Piano Skills. I'm Dr. Bob Lawrence. It's time for you to turn off your eyes and turn on your ears. No video, no distracting images, no pop-ups, and no advertisements. Just great educational content for you to hear, for you to discover, learn, and play. Today, we are going to explore chords, not voicings, chords. Is there a difference? There's a huge difference. When you study chords, you are looking at how various sounds, major, dominant, minor, half diminished, diminished, how these sounds are constructed and related to one another, how they are built from the ground up. Nothing fancy, just simple, straightforward chord construction. The root, the third, the fifth, and so on. On the other hand, when you study voicings, you are exploring various ways to actually play the chords. In other words, exploring various ways to arrange the notes of the chord so that they produce a stylistically correct sound for the genre of music you are wanting to perform. As you can see, chords and voicings are two very different jazz piano skills. Today, I am going to focus on chords and their fundamental construction. So let's dig in. There are 5 primary sounds in music, and I bet, especially if you've been studying music for a while, that you are already familiar with a couple of them: major and minor. In fact, most people, even without a music background, have heard of major and minor. We are certainly going to explore the major and minor sounds today, but along with 3 others: dominant, half diminished, and diminished. Before we go any further, I want to stress that every sound, major, dominant, minor, half diminished, and diminished, is comprised of 7 notes. There are 7 notes in each of those 5 primary sounds. Those 7 notes can be arranged in a scale format, and those same 7 notes can be arranged in a chord format, oftentimes called an arpeggio. For example, the C major scale is comprised of the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. The C major chord is comprised of the same 7 notes, but they are arranged in an every other note format: C, E, G, B, D, F, and A. This format is commonly referred to as the root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, 11th, and 13th. Today, we are going to construct the 5 sounds of music, major, dominant, minor, half diminished, and diminished, using 4 notes: the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. Let's begin with C major. Using the 1st note, the 3rd note, the 5th note, and the 7th note of the C major scale, we can construct the C major chord, which are the notes C, E, G, and B. We refer to this chord as C major 7th. Now, once we have our major chord constructed, we can easily produce the remaining 4 chords by altering the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. Here's how we do it. C major 7th, C, E, G, and B. Now, to convert that to a dominant 7th, we are going to lower the 7th 1/2 step. So we get C, E, G, and now B flat. C minor 7th. We're going to convert our dominant to minor by lowering the 3rd 1/2 step. So now we get C, E flat, G, and B flat. To turn that minor 7th into a half diminished 7th, we are going to lower the 5th 1/2 step. So now we get C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. And finally, to convert that half diminished 7th into a diminished 7th, we're going to lower our 7th 1/2 step again. So we end up with C, E flat, G flat, B double flat, or the note A. A quick side note. We are producing our 5 musical sounds today using 4-note chords because triads, 3-note chords, are not capable of producing a dominant sound. Notice how the C major 7th and the C dominant 7th both share the same triad, the notes C, E, and G. Now that we have built all 5 C chords, sounds, using the letter names of the root, 3rd, 5th, and 7th, I want to construct the chords using a number format. And here's how we do this. C major 7 equals the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. 1, 3, 5, 7 of the major scale. C dominant 7, 1, 3, 5, flat 7. C minor 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7. C half diminished, 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. And C diminished, 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat to 7. Guess what you now have? You have a blueprint that you can use to build the 5 sounds, the 5 chords, for each of the 12 notes of music. I like to refer to chords grouped in this manner as chord families. The C chord family, the F chord family, the B flat chord family, and so on. So, you have some homework to do this week. I want you to sit down with a pad of paper and a pencil in hand and construct the chord families for each of the 12 musical notes. I call this type of practicing paper practice, which is a very good habit to acquire. Taking the time to think through a musical skill before you try to physically play it is time well spent. Do the heavy lifting and thinking away from the instrument so you can focus on playing the scale once you actually do sit down at the instrument. Likewise, do enough paper practice that you can easily spell each chord of each chord family with ease. If I were to ask you how to spell each of the chords in the A chord family, how quickly could you? A major 7, A C sharp E G sharp. A dominant 7, A C sharp E G. A minor 7, A C E G. A half diminished 7, A, C, E flat, G. A diminished 7, A, C, E flat, G flat. Could you spell them that quickly? Could you spell each of those chords as easily as you spell your name? No hesitation, no pausing, no thinking, just instant spelling of the chord. If you cannot spell all 60 chords effortlessly, you do not know them. You are not ready to explore voicings. So let that motivate you to do some grunt work. The payoff is immeasurable. 12 notes, 5 sounds, 5 chords, root, third, 5, and 7. It's the foundation of music. It's the foundation needed to be in place in order for you to develop and become an accomplished jazz pianist. I hope you have found this quick jazz piano skills lesson to be beneficial. If you are wanting to study this topic extensively, I encourage you to check out my jazz piano skills curriculum. My courses are packed with comprehensive lessons that explore essential jazz piano skills. Each of the lessons contain detailed instruction and illustrations, in-depth educational talks, interactive learning media, traditional guides and worksheets, high-def video demonstrations in all 12 keys, play-along tracks, professional and personal educational support, mobile access to all courses and lessons on any of your smart devices. Check out the JPS curriculum. You can do that through jazzpianoskills.com or jazzpianoskills.store. That's it for now. And until next week, enjoy the journey. And most of all, have fun as you discover, learn, and play jazz piano.